Hello and welcome to another episode here of Elite Outcome Academy. Today, I'm so excited about this episode because I don't want to do it. But I'm doing it anyways. This morning has been hard. I've been in my head a lot. And to get out of it, I'm doing the things that I know I should be doing. And I hope that maybe this episode will help elevate you to do the same. You see, I woke up this morning and I wasn't in that great of a mood. I was very tired for some reason. And as I'm working on getting my sleep schedule, more locked in, I was really frustrated because I thought I did good. And, I did not take the time to sit back and think about all of the underlying circumstances of why I was probably so tired. And it's because I just finished day 8 of 75 hard, and I just finished 2 days of going up and down ladders and replacing some lights in a house for a friend of mine, and just life. All of this stuff you see behind me lives in my head. Every single one of these lines is something that I am deciphering and planning out and figuring out. So this is the Academy, by the way, as I build this out. If you're watching these early episodes, this is where it's all coming from. So without further ado, on today's topic, which is criticisms. How do we take criticisms in our life? Are the criticisms internal? Are they self-criticisms? Are they external criticisms? Are they make-believe criticisms? If they're external criticisms, do they matter? Do they not matter? Are they validated? Are we offended over something that somebody is telling us might actually be an observation that we're not seeing, that we need to take into account? Are we being overcritical of ourselves? Are we thinking are we doing perfectionist thinking and making ourselves feel terrible about, whatever it is that we're thinking about? That was me this morning. I was being self-critical, which is why I'm recording this episode, because I did not want to do it. And I know the truth, though, that the criticisms that I was having about myself were creating stinking thinking, and I was going down a rabbit hole of having a non-productive day. Okay, so let's look at criticisms. I'm going to start with my own definition of criticism. Criticism, to me, is either a false or accurate observation of our behavior, the way that we are treating ourselves and those around us. If it's a false observation, then we can throw them out, right? If we are observing within ourselves that we are not accomplishing all of the things that we wish to, that we're not getting to where we want to be, our self-criticisms can come from, thinking that we're not doing enough, thinking that we just are terrible or that we suck at whatever it is. And the truth is, most of the time, we're doing a lot of the things that we're supposed to. And if you're not, then just stick along here, because that's the reality too. But right now, we're talking about false criticism. So for me, it's really easy for me to be self-critical because I do have all of this stuff that I'm working on that's behind me here, and I want it all done now. I want it done now, and I want all of these episodes. I want 1,000 episodes up. This is episode I don't know. We're still under 10 episodes here. I want all of the episodes up, the thousands of hours and the thousands of episodes with all of the ideas, and I want the Academy built out and complete. I want all of it to happen, and I beat myself up because it's not done. And I don't take the time to observe the fact that it takes time. That I'm also taking care of my parents, that I'm also taking care of my children, and that I'm also, doing this, that, and the other thing while simultaneously building out this academy. My days are very long while I'm doing this because they have to be. I get 2 hours here, 3 hours there. Then I got to manage my dad's medications and both of their medical appointments, because my stepmom and my dad are in their 80s, and then I have 3 little kids 10 and under, and just all of these things, and I'm doing actually really good in these areas, and I am intentionally using them as characteristic trait builders. Managing my dad's stuff is very difficult, but I do it with as much precision as I possibly can, and all of these things, right? So I got to take a step back. I want all of this done now, but the things that I am doing pretty darn good at, and because I am, all of this will be built with great intention and precision, because that's the characteristic traits, the standards that I'm building myself into. 3 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, my self-criticisms were real. So we can transition into talking about that. I was not doing the things that I needed to be doing. I was not getting out of bed when I should. I was not doing the things that I said, keeping the words that I was promising myself and others. I was not keeping my word. My integrity was low. All of these things. And the reason they were is because I was not taking action. I wasn't being productive. I wasn't building myself up into this person that's in front of you today that was screaming inside of me to come out. And you have a version of that within you that is just screaming at you for you guys to become the best and most elite version of you. Now, you don't have to be like me, but you should turn yourself into a version that allows you to be a self-leader, then to lead in your family, and then to lead in your community and in your career and whatever it is, to be a leader. And I don't mean to be a manager or a boss. I mean like a leader, an example of how to live a fulfilling life. And if you're not quite there yet, and maybe you don't understand what this scream inside of you is, it's okay. And I'm willing to bet that you probably have an idea and you're just not moving towards it. So all of the anxieties and the criticisms and the depression and the overwhelm, it's all coming from the fact that you're not taking action. And if you are taking action in your life, you're misanalyzing the things that you're doing really good at. Like the example that I just gave you about managing my parents and my children and all these things, and managing all of this content that I'm creating for you guys. Okay, moving on. External criticisms. These are difficult because it's very hard sometimes if you have not yet become observant, if you haven't become self-aware or introspective to the degree where you can really understand the influence that you have in this world on yourself and on others. Sometimes people will tell you things that they are observing for you, and this can be difficult. I'll give you an example. For the longest time, many of my family members anticipated me to be bipolar or manic depressive, or what it was, one of these diagnosable psychology things, and we dive into all of these things throughout the episodes and in the academy here, to what traits are being what traits are being exhibited versus the reality of real diagnosable problems. But they kept telling me that I needed to go get on medication, that I needed to go get diagnosed for bipolar, that I needed to go, down this rabbit hole. But they were telling me these things, but the reality of it was I knew the truth. And the truth was I was just miserable. I've had a hell of a life, man, and it's a lot to process. All of the things in my life that have happened, the abandonments and the betrayals and the actions that I've done that I regret, and the traumas and the intensities, and just all of it was a lot, man. Just a lot, okay? It was a lot to process until I figured out how to shift my perspective, of which has created this academy. I'll probably say it in every episode. This academy I had to create for myself as the first student because what I needed did not exist. So after I got good at it as the first student, I then became the tutor. This academy is bigger than me. It's of my creation, but it is not of my. It is of my doing, but not of my creation. I don't know. I don't know how to put this into words. It feels bigger than me. I'm just kind of managing it, and for you guys, because the perspective shift is what we need to change. So, criticisms, external criticisms, is what somebody is saying to you. Is it coming from love? Is it coming from false information? Is it coming from both? So, the one thing that will happen is the people that love us the most will tell us things that sound overly critical to try to motivate us towards becoming better. The problem is most of the time when somebody gives us criticism or advice or whatever, it's automatically identifiable that they themselves are hypocritical towards the advice that they are giving. And this is where a nasty cycle happens. Do as I say, not as I do. There's no power behind that for most people, but I want you and I encourage you, and the world needs you to become non-hypocritical so that when the criticisms come in, you know exactly how they fit into the life that you are building, the life that you are creating, the parts of your life that you are recalibrating. Because if you know the truth, then who cares what anybody else says? Now, true, honest, external criticisms. These are hard to hear, and these are the pills to swallow. Regardless of how they come to you, even if they are from somebody that is hypocritical of their own lives, you can take the criticisms from somebody else as a tool to help motivate you. See, I told you, somebody that loves you or cares about you, they tell you something because they want to motivate you to be better. The truth is, they want you to be better so that they can also feel validated in joining you on the path to some degree. They want an accountability partner. They're not just trying to tear you down. And unless it's completely false, you may need to take the information and analyze it. My mom, for the longest time, as I've fluctuated through weight, it all goes to my stomach and sticks out, at this skinny, fat, stereotypical dad bod that I'm shedding off at the moment, going, fluctuating from 180 to 215 and everywhere in between for the last, 20 years. My stomach is always even as a kid, my stomach stuck out further than anything else, but, and for, I don't know why, but it's always been a criticism, and it's always been in the form of humor, and in the form of poking fun or making fun of me. And for the longest time, I took it as just not being nice. I mean, it's not, but I took it that way. instead of analyzing that, she was trying to point out that she was concerned about my health, that maybe I was living a lifestyle that wasn't conducive to my overall well-being. And now that I have the ability to reflect back on that, I understand what she was doing. So what are these things in your life? What are the criticisms that are coming at you? See, the whole point of this episode is for you to de-victimize yourself against yourself and others. Because what you have to do is you have to come to a place where you're able to accept the things that need to be changed and recalibrate the perfectionist mindset of having them done now. At least for me, this is where my self-criticisms come from. They come from a need to have it done now. And the reality is I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot. And I had to recalibrate what that meant as well. My biggest self-criticism was being able to do a lot, but really not getting anything done. I have this hyper energy that allows me to move. I have no self, regulating mechanism that says no. I say yes a lot. And that's a fault. To a fault, I say yes a lot. But I sat back and I did a self-analysis, and I said to myself, what are you doing? You've covered 200 miles today. I drive a lot. And you have, that's probably an exaggeration. Some days it's not. But you have been here, there, and everywhere else, all over the town. And you've been in each one of your environments today. And what did you do? Nothing. Busy work. Just here, there, and wherever. But I took this self-criticism and I extracted the tools. Because that's what Tools to Recovery, wherever that's at behind me, and Tools to Trauma is. It's an extraction of tools. Which the tool in this came from, I have the ability to be busy without complaint. Or much complaint. But I'm not utilizing that busy tool correctly, that mechanism. So, instead of saying yes to so many things, I turn my ability to be busy into all of this. And then by that, I can say, okay, the self-critical part of me getting all of this done is in the process of being worked. Because I'm capable of being busy and working on all of these things. Instead of saying yes to a million other things and covering all sorts of ground with busy work, not getting anything done. So, what are these criticisms in your life, and how can you break them down and analyze them? For one, the actual criticism to be useful, and two, the truth on the opposite side of the criticism. See, we have an inherent need for negative thought, and we have to learn to override that. That's part of this academy. So, with that, I hope that you are able to recalibrate your criticisms, both internal and external, either learning to take them with a grain of salt or with the reality that maybe something is being said that's not really being said, and maybe to be able to get out of your own head to come to the realization that you're just stinking thinking like I was this morning. With that being said, the inspiration for this video is Ed Milet's podcast that he dropped today with Bert Kreischer. And I was listening to it and thought, man, this is the topic for today. So go check out Ed's podcast. Go check out Bert's podcast and his comedy. I've been following both of these guys for a very long time. Two totally separate worlds, and I'm so happy to see them come together on this episode that they dropped today for inspiration for me, for inspiration for you, and this is the Ripple Effect. If you want to learn more about it, check out EliteOutcomeAcademy.com, where you will find courseworks and other videos where I get way more specific into the topics that we talk about here on YouTube and wherever this podcast gets distributed to. And with that being said, become elite and find somebody to be kind to today. Take care.